Auto Care Annual Leadership Conference is taking place in Indianapolis from March 23rd to 25th. Women from all across the auto care sector get together for networking, dynamic speakers, and workshops. Here with me today is Sherron Washington, the keynote speaker for the conference and founder and CEO of P3 Solutions, a marketing and communications firm. Thanks for joining me, Sherron.
Thanks, Amanda, for having me. It's great.
So my first question for Sherron today is, everyone here works in a male-dominated industry. That's just the fact of the auto care industry. So do you have any leadership tips for women who are leading in this type of a sector?
So one of the things I like to always say is get out of other people's heads. Yeah, we have to stay out of what other people think about us. I think there's a quote like, other people's thoughts about me is not my business. Absolutely.
Right.
So as women, we need to not think about what society, in a sense where it's going to penetrate how we show up in the world, right?
Right.
So more of, hey, I'm here, I'm valuable, I'm an asset, I'm intelligent, I know what I'm doing, and that's all that we need to think about, specifically in the male-dominated industry. Because the point of it is that many people won't change their attitude unless they feel like it's something wrong. So as much as I say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, until you come to that epiphany that I'm not doing this right, or I'm not thinking right, or I'm not operating in a right space, there's nothing I can do to do that other than show my authentic self and who I am. So women, show up. Show up.
Show up, exactly.
Show up.
And what about the fact, and I don't know even, I was grappling like, should I ask this question, should I not? But is there any type of different leadership style that women need to think about if their team is predominantly male versus if they had a predominantly female team? Or is it, you know, kind of all the same, or treat everyone the same? Or what's your advice there?
So from an academic standpoint, men are task masters, right? They're about the task.
Okay.
One of the, I think my professor from a while ago, Dr. Jamie Pilen, I love her to death, right? She's women's studies. She taught gender and communication, and she taught us that men are taskmasters, and that's why they could kind of be mad at each other, fuss each other out, and go have a beer.
Right.
Because it's all about the task, right?
Okay.
So our gender is based on our learned behavior. So we have biological sex, and get all into that. But it's more about roles, gender roles that we play, right?
Okay.
I think it's best to assess individually how to lead and manage people instead of looking at people as a group. You're men, so we need to do this. I need to move towards a commanding task because you're taskmaster, taskmasters, or allegedly, right?
Right, yeah.
Individually, I mean, people can be people. Specifically now, in this next normal, people change so much that you can have men who aren't really taskmasters that you have to be able to lead and show them how to be taskmasters. So I say all that to say is that maybe we should start looking at people as individuals and just borrowing different leadership styles that are complementary and that help productivity for the individual.
Exactly. I love that. That's great advice. Absolutely. And I also know that communication and the effectiveness of communication is another area that you specialize in.
Yes.
So do you have any specific tips for effective communication that the women at this conference can take home with them?
Be concise.
Okay.
If it takes you longer than 3 sentences to explain something, back up just a little bit. People's attention span, old, young, whoever, our attention span is like this, right? We're moving in so many directions. We're getting so much information that we need to have the information very concise and be specific.
Okay.
Never assume people know what you're talking about. So be as specific as possible when communicating. That way the person, because the goal of communication is that the other person understands. Not that you get it off your chest. I know we say that all the time, right? I used to say that. Let me get this off my chest. Not that you get it off your chest, but so that the other person understands your point of view.
Okay. That's good. Be concise.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat
Thanks
today.
so much, Amanda.
I really appreciate your time.
No worries. Have a good day.